What's up? What's up? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I think I had it in the sun. My phone turned off, man. We were just going in. We were just going in. How you doing?
I thought it was something I said. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like,
Not at all. Not at all.
the,
Yeah, man.
the funny thing about it, is right when it cut out, I think I was telling the story about when I first met Rolo and how like in the middle of me interviewing him, everything just like shut down. Like his video froze, and then I was like, what happened? And then it cut out, and
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? And I thought like that episode was basically ruined. And he was cool enough to give me a whole other like hour and a half the next day,
Yeah.
just to finish up the episode. And I was like, man, that what a cool dude. Like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So after that, I had like so much more respect for that guy.
Yeah. Hey, well, then I got you with 3 hours tomorrow, man. Let's go.
Ah, you got me back right now. We're good, I think. No.
All right, good, good. But yeah, man. No, this is a very exciting dude. I need everybody watching this to follow him. Come on, man. Podcast. He does great work for men and for relationships in general, for humanity, really. And definitely follow his content. Motivational, mothers, send this to your sons. You know what I'm saying? And ladies, send this to your man. And men, send this to your homeboys. He does great work.
I try, it's funny. I never really, I thought when I was doing this, when I first started doing it, right, I was just sort of interviewing other guys in the men's group that I was in. I didn't really think it was going to be that big of a podcast. It wasn't going to get to that many people. But I've been doing it for 3 years now, and every once in a while I'll get someone that reaches out to me, and they'll be like, dude, you saved my marriage, man. Or, I'm in the best relationship of my life now. Or I know a guy who was totally migged out, hated women, and somehow he saw my videos and started coming back around, and now he's like a total Chad, like out there dating and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
he hated women at one at one point. It's
Yeah.
like you don't have to. Red pill's not about hating women, and that's what I don't like, the content creators that sort of put out this message that women are trash and stuff like that, and then all these other guys sort of pile on the red pill space and think it's all about like, oh, you have to have a harem or you're not alpha and shit. It's like, well, that you can do that, but that's not what it is. It's all about, like, people just totally negate the whole idea of mental point of origin and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, most definitely. I get that too. And I like what I've heard quite a few people say this. It's like those people that speak like, oh, all women are trash. It's like, yeah, for them. And when I hear people like that, so that's the best like mindset, I think. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, for those guys, that might be their reality, is because they're not able to attract quality women. But they do exist.
yeah, yeah. Well, what the way I liken it to is like, we get what we focus on in life. If your mindset says that all women are trash, and you watch, and not to shit on Fresh and Fit, right, because they actually do have good information on there, but a lot of guys will watch that show. They'll watch the after hour show where they're basically like asking sort of these hoes, like, and that's what they are. They're
Yeah.
they're like professional call girls or OnlyFans girls, they're strippers or whatever, right? Like, that's their chosen profession. And then they sort of ask these girls like gotcha questions and stuff. Well, guys will tune into that stuff and watch it and go, oh, well, all the girls out there are like these girls around the table. It's like, so then that's what they see, and that's what they focus on. They focus on girls with those types of qualities. So that's all that their mind will show them. But there's this thing called the reticular activating system, right? Whatever you're focused on the most is what your brain will let you see. Everything else is filtered out. So if you start thinking, actually there are good women out there. There's women that are sort of traditionally minded. There's women out there that want a man that sets the tone and takes the lead, that wants to be submissive. You start programming your mind for that, like, you'll start seeing those women out there. And it's not like that they're magically showing up. They've always been there. We're filtering them out before, I have a whole course on that. It's called the Practical Law of Attraction course. Teaches guys all about that stuff. And it's like the movie The Secret, but without all the magic bullshit in
Yeah.
it. So, yeah.
Okay. Actually, that's a good thing. That's something to promote, guys. Like, you know what I mean? I think these courses, I've taken some courses here and there and stuff, and they've only helped me. Never fear to take a course, because I remember like we were talking about before on the earlier one about the game, how Neil was saying this felt like it was his biggest shame or whatever to go to ask for help, and it shouldn't be, because after he got that help, he like his game went up there,
Oh, that reminds me. There's this chick on Twitter. I don't know if are you on Twitter at all?
Yeah, follow me. Same name as Instagram.
Okay, I'll look for you on there. There's this chick on there. I think her handle is cat bees, right? Like cat cat _bees.
Oh,
She's a hoot, man. She's an absolute hoot. She's like a walking shit test for guys.
yeah,
And she'll put out tweets just to piss red pill guys off, right? And
yeah,
and it works every time. And I just get a kick out of her, you know.
yeah.
And yesterday she put a tweet out saying, "I don't want a red pill guy. I don't want a guy that has to go and learn game. I don't want a guy that has to go and learn to talk to women and stuff like that." And I was like, yeah, but like most girls don't want a guy that they want a guy that just gets it,
Yeah.
right? They want a guy that is a natural leader, right? But most guys, they're not just fucking natural leaders. They don't just know game. They have to learn it from somebody. We all have to learn from somebody,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's our dad, right? Even if your dad is like a guy that has strong masculine frame and stuff like that. Like some guys that are naturals, it's because their dads were really good like that, right? Not all of us had that. My dad, total blue pill fucking guy, right? Like my dad and my mom have, like, they're still together, but they have the worst fucking relationship ever, right? That's where most of us learn relationships. Some of us have to go to outside sources to learn how to do this better. And so that's why you don't talk to women about game. You don't try to red pill chicks, because chicks want to play the game. They don't want to be told they're playing a game. You know what I mean? So when I saw her tweet, I just thought it was funny, and I quote tweeted. I was like, "This is why you don't talk to girls about game, guys. They want a guy that they think just gets it, a guy that seems like a natural. And they'll never know. They'll never know if you don't fucking start talking to them about, well, I read this book once. And girls don't want to fucking know that shit, right? So,
No,
yeah. Anyway, girls are funny. Girls are funny.
I get.
Ooh,
That. No,
what's he saying?
it's different when you don't look for her, and she walks into a store, and you're immediately reminded of what kind of female you actually want around you. That's a good insight. IC86.0. Yeah, that's my boy Ivan. That's a good actually point. You want that natural insight. You know what I mean? You want that immediate natural attraction. I would say probably. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I try to teach guys too. Is you sort of want a girl that chooses you. You want to walk through open doors and not bang on closed ones. And girls that are into you will make things easy for you. They will bend over backwards to make themselves available when they like you. You don't have to try to convince them to go out. They're just like, you say, "Hey, when are you free to get together?" And they give you like 20 they give you their whole calendar. "Well, I'm free on Wednesday. I'm free on Thursday. I'm in between these times too. I'm available for a call if you want." Like girls that like you will be like, totally make it super easy. There's no guessing. And a lot of guys they sort of project their own attraction that they have for a girl on her, and they're like, yeah, no, she's into me. It's like, no, dude, look at her actions. Her actions say she's never available for you. You go to ask her on a date, she's always busy and shit. She's not into you, bro.
Yeah.
Like you want a girl that is, a lot of guys talk about like mixed signals too. Well, she says she wants to meet up. But she can never meet up. Well, then her actions are speaking on her behalf, dude. If you stop listening to what the fuck they say and just pay attention to what they do, their actions never lie. They never are mixed signals that way. So you're wasting your time with this chick. You want to go out with a chick that her words match her actions,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, it is all about the actions. It's definitely something that you got to learn, like to just get it. Is that when you just get it, you're gonna know that, yeah, she's saying, yeah, I want to go on a date, and then flakes on the date or has no availability that she's presenting to you at all or whatever. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's time better spent finding a new plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, she's just, and a lot of guys get butthurt too, and they're like, oh, I'm going to call her out on that, right? I am not a fan of guys calling chicks out on fucking anything, because chicks are chicks, right? Like they might flake on a date or something, they might whatever, and they're like, oh, no, we got to hold them accountable. You're not really holding her accountable by doing that. You're actually what I see a lot, right, is guys will do that. They'll like leave a message on her voice message talking about what a dumb bitch she is or whatever. Chicks, like, they're not going to like rethink their whole life fucking strategy there. But they're like, oh, this guy's right. I probably shouldn't have canceled on him like that. They don't do that. What they do is they take the recording of your message and then they put it on TikTok for clout and make fun of you.
Exactly. It is. It's like what that reminds me of is how they speak on approach anxiety. It was based on how in the olden days, if you mess up with one of the chicks, you're never going to reproduce. And it's like, and maybe they need some of that approach anxiety type of stuff. And when it comes to like calling out, like I got one dude that I kind of talk with here and there, like in a way, like we talk red pill in some aspects. I do consider it that I like sort of mentor him. He's going through a weight loss transformation, but it started out with, dude was telling me every time that he was on these apps doing the dating apps, and he would just be like, just telling them, calling them out on every single thing on their lives. I'm like, this is the worst thing to do. This is why you're asking help. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, no, man, she said she was going to do this. It's like, what are your tips for something like that, for like how I could get through to him, to like, because even today, I feel like he still doesn't fully get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of this stuff too is like guys sort of need to want to learn, right? Some guys have such an ego investment in this stuff that they tune everything that you say out. So it's sort of like you got to let them burn a little bit, One thing that I just try to make clear to guys, and guys, like I'll put out a TikTok video talking about guys like, oh, you don't want to check a bitch, right? Like that's not a thing. That's not even real.
Yeah.
It's real if you're in a relationship, right? If you're in a relationship and your girl like disrespects you, let's say in front of like family members,
then
you don't want to like blow up at her in front of family members, because that makes you look like the bad guy, makes you look like a fucking asshole. But in private, once like all the family members are gone, you can be like, hey, that wasn't cool. Right? That wasn't cool. You completely disrespected me in front of people like that. And as long as you have like a calm, demeanor about telling her that,
yeah,
that's acceptable, right? That's setting boundaries. That's how you check a bitch. But when you're just dating, right? You're just dating, and you don't know them and they don't know you. You're not checking anybody. They have no respect for you yet. Mm-hmm. So you're basically your best tool in your toolbox is to walk away. Like don't talk, walk, right? Like, okay, so
yeah,
she canceled the date and didn't give me an alternative time. Don't reply back to her text, right? She texts you and say, oh, I can't make it tonight. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking reply. Like, no reply is a reply, and that's, you don't owe her a reply, and then just let it go. If she was shit testing you, which some girls will do that to shit test you,
yeah,
she'll realize, oh shit, he's not replying back. Maybe I'll reach out and be like, oh, you know what? Actually, I can go out, right? Like, that's what will happen, or you'll just never hear from her again. Either way, she doesn't deserve a response to that, right? But there's no reason like calling her out and calling her a bitch and say, fuck you, I'm holding you accountable. You're not holding anybody accountable, Mm-hmm. It's comical to women like that. They're just like, man, what's up with this guy? He's got a bad attitude. It's a guy with no frame.
Yeah.
Really. Frame is so important too, and a lot of guys, they don't really know what frame means.
Yeah.
Frame isn't about
one second, my bad. Because I know, like, for smoking, for YouTube, is it all right if I'm smoking if it's a cigarette? It's clear it's a rolled cigarette, though, so I'm just checking because I know I heard that that's bad if you're on YouTube for the outreach. They don't share it as much if you're smoking, but if it's a cigarette, I'm good, right?
I think
All
so.
right,
Yeah.
cool. And I was like, I just needed a smoke. I had to like bring it up because yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
it's big on YouTube.
YouTube's they're kind of tricky about that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, go into frame because I feel like a lot of men need that definition defined for them.
Yeah,
You know?
I have a whole episode coming up on Monday. There's a guy that goes by Graybeard Actual. He's really big on TikTok. Actually, I think he's even bigger on Instagram now.
Oh,
Uh, but Ray Graybeard Actual, he's joining me on Monday to talk about frame. He's a former Marine. Like,
okay.
dude's a fucking
Yeah,
just very stoic guy.
yeah,
But frame like a lot of people think frame is like stoicism and shit like that, and that's part of it, right? It's there's like having good emotional control is a part of your frame. But if you really just wanted to break it down, frame is like your worldview. It's how you view yourself. It's how you see reality. And if anything challenges your frame, you should find it sort of amusing or interesting. You know, so if a girl challenges your frame, right, by shit testing you, and
yeah,
she says, oh, the I wouldn't wear that necklace. That makes you that that's kind of a girly necklace, right? Guys with no frame will take offense to that and then like
mm,
blast her, right? Like, oh, fuck you, and that is a guy that has no frame. But a guy that has frame and is like, I know that I like my necklace and I don't really care what anybody else thinks. They'll
yeah,
find that amusing. They'll be like, oh, you think my necklace is girly, right? Like
yeah,
it's just cute and funny,
yeah,
so then they'll agree and amplify with her, and then chicks actually, when they realize, oh hey, I can't get a rise out of this guy because what I say doesn't bother him. Like, that's attractive to women. Like, women are like, oh, okay, all right, this guy's actually, he's who he says he is,
yeah,
and that's really what shit tests are. It's just a woman just, and all women do it, right? They test you consciously or subconsciously. They're just trying to see if they can knock you out of your center and get you out of this front that you're presenting to them.
mm-hmm.
And you do that by when you lose your fucking temper with them. It's like,
Exactly.
get up on your emotions. So
So it's of like I would say one question I have is what's the difference between frame and dominance? But in a way, I feel like you answered it kind of how I'm taking from it. Like more so, it's more of implied dominance than like active. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this and you can't stop me, and I have to remind you that I'm the boss type of stuff.
right, like, well, dominance is it's more of an action
Mhm.
than anything. You know what I mean? Man, there's a really good book I just finished. It hasn't even come out yet, right? It's not to the general
Okay.
public, but my friend Thor,
Yeah.
RP
Like him.
Thor, just wrote a book called Dominant Masculine Presence.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he tries to stress in that book is, like, in this space, there's this whole emphasis on alpha versus beta,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
he's like, that's kind of an oversimplification on the way a man needs to be and what's attractive to women. And he's like, what's really attractive is having a dominant masculine presence, and a part of that is having a good frame. And frame also comes down to mental point of origin and stuff like that. Like, how, like you putting yourself first and doing what's best for you and figuring out what do you even want in your life.
Yeah.
Guys that don't have any frame have no idea what they want, what they even
Yeah.
want. So
No, most
hopefully
definitely.
that answered your question, IC 86
Yeah,
0.
hope that answered that. Let us know, man, in the chat. Let us know. Yeah, he's a real good dude, man. He said earlier that when we were talking about the previous subject, he said that his girl had walked into the store, and 3 years later, we have a 1-year-old and doing our best to build a good home for us and our family. That's beautiful. That's what all this is about, man. And it's not everyone needs a harem. If you want one and can get one, that's great. But you're doing you know, higher value stuff right there. You're building a family, and I'm glad that's happening for you. That's going beautiful. Keep watching his stuff. Keep staying in tune with me. We're gonna do all we can to give any advice we can at any time. Definitely reach out to me in the DMs, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, an interesting thing too about like the whole like if you don't have a harem, you're not alpha. And then you look at like Rolo, right? Like Rolo's been married for like 26, 27 years, same woman,
And
like
he's
he's a
alpha.
family man.
Yeah.
He's a family man, So it's like red pills for everybody. It's it can work in if you have a monogamous worldview, like that's what you want. Maybe you're maybe that's all you need. Like that's kind of me, right? Like I went out when I was spinning plates. I was spinning plates until I found a good plate, and so that's where I'm at now. I've been with the same girl for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to have a harem.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. I mean, ideally, that's what I'd like is like, a good wife like that. I could do that. I'd probably like have no problem with that. But I mean, obviously, there's also the desire of variety. But I was raised Catholic, so I feel in some ways like a harem probably isn't a lifelong choice for me, even if temporary.
Yeah. And then there's guys out there that are like, I think I could be speaking out of context here, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on this. There's guys like Paul Benjamin, Apex Mindset, right? He's got like a main squeeze girl, but I think she's also bisexual. So occasionally she'll invite friends in and they'll go do like threesome shit, there's guys like that's the kind of relationship that they want, where it's sort of like polymono, right? Where they have a main girl and then they have some variety on the side occasionally, and that's whatever, man. Like whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what it comes down to.
Like the no jumper guy, like how he does it, kind of.
I just heard that name.
Yeah.
I've never even watched that. Who's No Jumper?
No Jumper. He started out doing like biker, skateboarder, YouTube, and then got into the hip hop space, and then he got into like started working with some red pill guys in there. He's had a few red pill guys on there. He's had the guy Zerka that was on Fresh and Fit on there. He's had Sneeko on there. It's Adam 22, and like I like his content because like I used to skateboard. I like hip hop, and now he's getting into like pretty much around the same time I started doing like reading these red pill books is when he started like posting like red pill interviews with red pill guys and stuff. So it was like I was already watching him for music news, so it was like just was natural to keep watching. Him and his wife have like an OnlyFans where they have different porn stars come in and stuff, and that's how they have their polymono, in a way.
Oh, okay, all right, that's funny, dude. Porn stars are interesting cats, man. Like so the first one that I ever talked to was Eric Everhard. Fucking legend in the business, right? The guy's been in the business like forever. He wrote a book, I want to say a year or two ago, called Unleash Your Sexual Superpowers.
Okay.
It's a life-changing book if you want to like really just build your skills in the bedroom. Fucking phenomenal book, right?
Yeah.
And he's the one that reached out to me, right? He reached out to me. He had this book he was promoting, and I was like, yeah, I'll be on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he's been like a good friend ever since, like he'll see every once in a while, he'll notice that I'm reading a certain self-help book and he's like, oh, that was a great book, Paul.
Yeah.
You should read this book now. And I'm like, wow, I've never thought in a million years I'd be getting book recommendations from fucking legendary porn stars. Like they're actually pretty cool dudes. Sterling Cooper, another down-to-earth cat, like he's a good dude. And he hangs out with guys like, you can't even say it on Instagram, but the brothers they rhyme with 8. They drive Bugattis. You know who I'm talking about. You can't say it on Instagram, you'll get banned. But he hangs out with those guys, But just a down to earth, cool dude. Like they're interesting people. Yeah.
No, I love Sterling Cooper, man. Like all his stuff, and he goes in depth in techniques only a porn star would know. And even though, hey, I'm a hip hop guy, I'm not a porn star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sterling. I think I offended Sterling. I had him on, and I was joking with him, right? Because he was talking about all the preparation they do for these scenes, and not just the sex part, but like the actual acting part, memorizing lines and all this stuff. And I just was like, Sterling, nobody's watching it for the fucking acting. He goes, anytime someone says that, like a little piece of our souls die, like.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, all right, fair enough. I go the next time I watch an adult film, Sterling, I'm just gonna skip all the sex shit. I'm just gonna watch it for the plot, you know?
That's hilarious, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Jeez.
they're good dudes though. They're good dudes.
Yeah, man. I asked them, super chatted when they were on with the Savo brothers. These were like the first Red Pill cats that I met. I bought their NFT and they had a concert in Connecticut. I'm based in New York, so I'm right next to Connecticut. So I just drove out there, went to the event. I had the NFT already. They brought me on stage and all of that, and it was an amazing experience. Really cool dudes, all of them. Their friends were like really cool dudes too. I follow all of them still. We interact here and there, and just great people I found in the space, man. And I definitely like if I'm gonna do a show with you, I definitely have to shout out them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm I reached out to Kevin. Kevin's fucking busy right now, man. Like he's like making movies and shit, making like so he's busy as hell because I was like, dude, I need to get you on the podcast. And he's like, I'd love to, but I'm fucking swamped right now.
Yeah,
So I'll have to reach out to him when he's got more downtime. But
yeah,
yeah, Kevin seems like a down to earth dude, a funny guy. You know, he and his content's really good. I think he's a law of attraction guy too.
yeah,
You know, but he also says it the same way I say it too, which is like, if you're not taking genuine action on any of this stuff, you're just fucking daydreaming. You know, like that's not how this works. You know, so
yeah.
you have to take action on this type of stuff. So yeah, I like Kevin. He's a good dude. I haven't bought any of the NFTs though,
Yeah, I like it.
but I did notice that your avatar is it's a red pill lion NFT in it.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's my NFT, and it was crazy because I was just cutting back with cigarettes, and they randomly generate it, and then it's like a cigarette with money burning, and I took that as like I don't know, maybe like I'm not trying to get into magical thinking, but I was like maybe it's like I was burning some money on cigarettes, man. Like you know what I mean? So I try to cut back on them now. I was doing a pack a day and stuff, and now it's just like I'll do like 2-3 cigarettes a day, and I just do roll your own, so I don't even buy packs. Yeah,
Mm.
because since I
I
got into
I used to smoke cigarettes. I quit smoking in 2004. It's probably the hardest thing I ever fucking did. You know,
exactly,
so hard.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's for a couple months, and then just all of a sudden, it's like you know what? I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette. And also, it's like with the new stuff to quit with, like it's all these people talking like about the side effects of vaping are worse. They talk about there's this stuff ZYN that Tucker Carlson does or whatever. I tried that stuff, and like literally, they're so strong. I thought I was having a heart attack. I'd had like 2 or 3 of them. I had to go to the hospital. They're like, no, you're fine. You just don't do them ever again. Yeah. So
That's the vaping stuff.
no, the ZYN. It's
Oh,
like a pouch, not tobacco. It's just straight nicotine. It's
oh,
like
oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That would be good if you're like trying to. Well, I guess it would be fine for cigarettes too. But if like you're trying to quit chewing tobacco,
yeah,
you know, like because it's a pouch, it's almost like the same type of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what else we got? Oh, so let's go back over because that I think I'm not sure if it's saved or anything, or if you had it screen recorded, then definitely post it for the earlier one. But let's go back to like promoting more of your links too. I want to because this one we definitely have to make sure it goes on the YouTube. I can get all my people to follow you and all support your stuff because you have powerful content, man. Like I said, the TikTok, it's all the same name. Come on, man, pod.
Yeah. So TikTok. So I have a main account on TikTok. I'm actually on my third account though. So my main account is at Come On Man Pod,
Okay.
but it's shadow banned. It's totally shadow banned. So I have a new TikTok account called Best Men's Pod. It's short for the best men's podcast ever.
Yeah.
But at Best Men's Pod, the links in my bio on Instagram here. I have a sort of like a link tree type thing. And on Instagram here, it's Come On Man Podcast. On YouTube, it's Come On Man Podcast. And on Twitter, it's Come On Man Pod.
Okay.
And on Facebook, it's Come On Man Podcast. But it's annoying when I don't like it when other people do this when they have like a million different, handles on
Yeah.
each platform. Gets kind of difficult. So
Yeah.
just go to the link in my bio. It's the easiest to find. But yeah, I think out of all my platforms, TikTok, the original Come On Man Pod account has the most followers. The second would be YouTube. I have like 16,000 followers, I think, on YouTube.
That's beautiful.
But I really want people to check out the long form content, right? Because that's really where you're going to get the most value. If I have episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they're about an hour long. So listen to them on the audio version on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or something like that. If you're in your car, it's perfect for that. Otherwise, like sit down on your couch if you have a smart TV and watch it on YouTube because it's kind of long that way. But I have good guests on every Monday. This Friday, actually, I have Eric Everhard, the porn star. He's going to be on my live stream on Friday because he's promoting his new Everhard Academy course, which is like it's a sex course.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to teach you how to like basically make a girl just forget her fucking name. Right. But he's not just like, he's showing you. He's got like a chick there and he's showing you techniques like on a live chick, doing things. You know what I mean? Like, do you see where I'm getting at here?
Okay.
So,
yeah. Oh, he's
so
yeah, now I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that on Friday. On Wednesday's episode, I am on Sunday I was writing my book. So Wednesday's episode is going to be a section on the chapter of the book I was writing, which is on what to do on a date, right? Like what to wear, body language, all that kind of stuff. When you're talking to women, like actions to take, taking them to taking them to an initial place, and if you like them, take them to a second venue for that 2 dates in one experience, because women will sleep with you by the second or third date on average. So if you take them to 2 places in the same night, it sort of psychologically speeds that process up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, so that's what I got going on. I do have that Law of Attraction course. You can find all this stuff in the link in my bio. Mm-hmm. And then I have a Patreon too, where I offer one-on-one coaching. I just started doing monthly happy hour hangouts. So for Patreon members, if you're looking for a good group of dudes just to have beers with and chop it up and, because so many guys don't have any friends. So many guys don't have any fucking male friends that they can go to with their problems. And then they get into a relationship and their girl is really the only person in their life. So they just dump all their baggage on these women. And the women, they say they want it. They say they want to be there for a guy, but women just don't give a shit about our problems, right? Like I legit think that they do and they want to, but biology just won't let them.
Yeah.
So just don't do that, because they'll start losing attraction for you over time. Bring it to the boys. And my Patreon's a perfect, outlet for that. It's like $10 a month. You can think of it like a cover charge to your favorite bar.
Yeah.
And then just hang out with some dudes. We talk about guy shit. You can talk about cars and whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. There's no actual format to it. We just had our first one last Thursday. And we had a bunch of guys from the Patreon show up. We had some drinks. It was a good time. We busted on each other. Just talked about all sorts of stuff. Some of the guys talked about stuff that they were struggling with. It was cool. It's not recorded. You don't have to worry about offending people and stuff like that. So that's a good time. All this is the link in my bio.
IC86.0, man. Join in on that, man. You're saying I have no friends at all. Man, I'm your friend, man. But definitely join there, man. That sounds like it could help you. I mean,
check out the Patreon. It's the tier 1 is $10. And then one of the things too that the guys they really enjoyed it, and they were like, you know what, we also need is a group chat where we can all just in between these meetups we can drop shit in there too. So I created just this Saturday I created a Telegram group for all Patreon members. So if you join the Patreon, you can be added to that group too.
Okay.
And then you also get all of Monday's interviews ad free. So there's some other benefits just besides hanging out with a bunch of dudes.
All right. Yeah, no, you said I most definitely will. That's amazing. That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. I want to see the progress, man. W's in the chat, man. W's. Yeah. Yeah, that's a W right there, man. Yeah, man. That's great stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then, one question I have: who do you think is the best in the red pill with online dating game advice? Like, basically, if you were to say.
That would be me.
All right. All right.
Well, and the reason why I say that is because let me step that back.
Okay.
Are we talking about dating apps or are we talking about social media?
I would say probably most people would want the advice towards probably a dating apps, but those are the people that don't realize Instagram is a dating app. You know? Yeah.
Well, okay, so I would say me for dating apps because so my whole thing, my whole shtick is that when I was out dating, right? I'm out here in the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm out here in ranch country.
Okay.
There's no places to cold approach out here.
Yeah.
Right. I'm literally in the middle of nowhere, and so I always say on the podcast, there's no cold approach in the cow pasture.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had to be on dating apps. That was the only way I was meeting women.
Yeah.
And so I got really good at it, and it's a very simple formula. So if you get on the Patreon, I can help guys, sort of with that one-on-one coaching, either tier 2 or tier 3. I help guys with that.
Okay.
If you want to talk about social media specific games, right? Like Instagram, how to slide into girls' DMs.
Yeah.
My friend Benny Lichtenwalder is probably the best in the fucking business on that. But he's switched his dating his coaching model more to breakups, which is hilarious to me. Because so now he's really coaching a lot of guys who are trying to get exes back and stuff like that, which I don't recommend doing. But he's doing great. He's fucking killing it. So that's really where he's switched his coaching to. Okay. Otherwise, Mike Sartain, he's partners with Rolo on the Access Vegas. He teaches guys social media game and social circle game too. So yeah, I would say those two guys if you're looking for social media. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. That's like and I do like Rolo and Mike's show. It's like I think it's a real good show. You know what I mean? How the Access Vegas show works. Now, do you do like any like courses in person or anything like that? Do you have any of that for this upcoming year that you do?
No, I don't do it. I don't really do anything like in person, like where we do meetups and like go walking through clubs and stuff like that. That's not really what I do. But if you join the Patreon, we do. If you join tier 1, there's only one spot available actually in tier 1. Okay. Or sorry, in tier 3. Tier 3 is my premium tier. There's only one spot available, and we do monthly sort of Zoom calls, and we do one-on-one and come up with actually a game plan and actually set goals that I follow up with you on, like, hey, we talked about doing this. Did you do it? Most guys give you excuses. They give you a million excuses why they didn't do something. Exactly. And that's why they don't progress, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's how I run things. Everything's over sort of virtual. But we talk one-on-one, and then tier 2 is it's all over Telegram, and so it's like voice and video messages back and forth. But it's like I'm available basically 24/7 for guys like that.
Okay. And he's saying the video's breaking up. Do you see it breaking up on your end? I don't see. I'm trying to move it around.
You aren't breaking up. Your audio's fine. It does get pixelated here and there. I don't know if your phone's overheating again or what.
No, not overheating. I'm in the shade, but the shade has less service. So hold on. Let me get up here.
Okay.
Another bar. How am I looking?
Yeah, looking good, man. Looking good.
Thank you.
Oh shit! Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, brother. No, this is great, man. Let me see. And then, was it the first one or the second one? I think it was the first video where we talked about your book. Would you want to just briefly announce the book again, or any tips on that, or?
Yeah. So that book is still in progress. It's probably not going to be available until maybe the end of the year if we're lucky. But when it comes out, I'll be pushing it pretty hard. So what I would say for guys that are interested in the book, is tune into the lives, because as I'm writing the book, I'm actually sort of doing live episodes on what the book's about. So as you're following along, you're getting these like tidbits. When the book comes out, you're going to be like, oh, it's all going to make more sense, when you put it all together. So that's what I would recommend. If you're interested in the book at all, tune into the live streams, because I'm sort of slowly letting out what's in that book. And then, when you actually buy the book and it's all cleaned up after it's been through an editor, you'll be like, oh, he was talking about this, or I wonder why that part's cut out, or whatever. So it's fun.
Yeah. And do you Rumble? That's a big thing right now. I know a lot of people are doing. I just got on there, and I'm resharing stuff from my main channel where I put all of these lives on, and then my artist channel. Automatically, everything goes there.
I haven't really started doing Rumble yet. I mean, I signed up for an account, but I don't like their UI that much. It's not that user friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Rolo about it, because I know he's like sort of sharing his content on Rumble.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's just not there yet. Like there's guys like like the Bugatti brothers, we'll call them.
Yeah.
They're doing good on there, but that's because Rumble's actually paying them.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
they have a specific deal with those guys, but smaller creators, it's hard to build a following on there, I heard. So I haven't even tried it yet. So now I'm whenever I do my live streams, I actually stream to Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time.
Okay.
And that's where you can usually find my videos. But I'm really pretty much only talking to YouTube people in the chat.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's good. Now, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I got to start doing that, the simulcast stuff. Yeah, we can't say that, but you can write it. Yes.
Yeah, we can't. We don't want to get banned up. So I have a one, the guy who does my video editing for me, right? He's one of those Hustler University guys,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with like any of those guys, like a lot of their business model is they'll just make random content for the Bugatti brothers, and push it out, and they'll build up like these huge channels, right? And that's one of the reasons why you can't cancel those guys officially. Well, he just had his Bugatti brother channel canceled off of both Instagram and Facebook.
Wow.
Because he just posted a recent video, and if like they even see it, like they'll ban it. I know.
Yeah. Adam Sosnick.
Sosnick just got banned. He got his account back, but yeah, he got banned because he posted clips of his interview. It's crazy,
Yeah.
So
that's
crazy.
Wow. So yeah, because I know like for a while I was sharing a lot of their stuff in my story and stuff, but like now that you're bringing it, like, and I seen what happened with Sauce, like I might have to, like, I don't know, make those close friend videos, make that maybe like some type of stuff like that more so, and like, maybe be more alluding to it until like censorship gets relaxed.
Yeah, I think like when those guys first got banned off of like all social media, one of the things that the HU guys were doing was blurring his face out.
Okay.
So they're posting videos. You could hear it was him.
Yeah.
But the video, the face was blurred out so that the algorithm wouldn't pick up, because the algorithm's smart, man. It's got like facial recognition and all that crap. So they would blur his face out and get away with it, which is sad to do. The guy's got a good message.
Exactly.
And it's like he's a threat to the the powers that be, because he can build like this huge, massive following, and they can't control him. They can't control his narrative. So of course they want to get rid of him. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you know behind the scenes, or maybe I didn't watch the updated video of it, but how did he go about getting his channel back? Just he had to directly, like, him and the Valuetainment people had to hit up Instagram?
Yeah, I think it was a coordinated effort. I think like, people like Mike Sartain and those guys. Mike Sartain's got like a big Instagram account because he manages Instagram for like OnlyFans girls and whatever. So I think like Mike probably has some like back channels into Meta and like the support there, and I think he helped get them back. I think there was a big lobby for all of that kind of stuff. So
yeah. And then IC says, did you know about Kevin Samuels, RIP? What did you know him?
Yeah.
Talk with him?
I never got never got a chance to interview him or anything. I really wanted to eventually, build up my content enough to where he would be a viable guest, But yeah, he passed away before that. And I did get to interview Alan Roger Curry.
Okay.
He wrote the Mode 1 series of books, which he's the godfather of direct game.
Okay.
Fucking genius guy. And I got to interview him, and then he passed away like 3 weeks later. So I think I have the last interview of Alan Roger Curry.
Wow. Yeah, I remember in one of the later books of Rollo, he had dedicated it to him, right? To Alan Roger Curry. I remember that, I believe, from the Rational Male series.
Well, I mean,
Was that
Rollo's
right?
Rollo's last book, the Player's Handbook, came out before Alan died. So
Okay. It was someone else. It was the man that wore the eye patch. He had said I mixed it up. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure Rollo might do something. Rollo's got another book coming out called the 49 Maxims of Game, which I he hasn't directly said it, but I feel somewhat responsible for because as I was I think this is one of the biggest catalysts that got me on Rule Zero. Was as I was reading the Player's Handbook, what I realized was Rollo just kept coming up with these maxims, right? He's like maxim number 23, right? And I'm like, this motherfucker, he's putting out like a list of maxims in this book, like sort of secretly. So I started writing them down every time I heard one, and he ends up with 49 maxims. Like he asked about 48 laws of power. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I was like, oh, he's coming up with these maxims. So I started doing shorts. I started doing YouTube shorts or TikToks on the 49 maxims of game based on Rollo's book, and I would tag Rollo in all these fucking books, or all these videos. Yeah. And Rollo started sharing them and stuff. And finally, he DM'd me and he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna write a book called the 49 Maxims of Game. It's gonna be just specific to those 49 maxims. Yeah. So that's what Rollo's working on now. He finally announced it. It's not a secret anymore, but for a while it was a secret. He was like, yeah, this is what I'm working on. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's big. That's big right there. That's real big, man. Yeah, I'm glad to know that. Like, I really like his books, and I can't wait to hear yours. You definitely got to do an audiobook, man. That's the same thing I told my cousin about.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an audiobook. Although I think I'm going to work with Jack Napier on doing being the voice artist for it, because I don't think anyone wants to hear me flubbing over all my own words and stuff. But I think what I'll do is I'll do what what's his name, Tony Robbins does. Tony Robbins reads like the first, like the intro and like the conclusion of the book, and then he has some voice talent doing the rest. Yeah, I think I'll do that and work with Jack Napier on that. Okay. IC86 says, thoughts on 48 Laws of Power. Does that book have any correlation? 48 Laws of Power is a must-read book. Yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah. It's kind of like, the way I look at 48 Laws of Power is it's like the dark side Sith version of how to win friends and influence people, right? So Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People is like sort of the Jedi Knight version of influencing people. And then 48 Laws of Power is like the dark side. But it's good because a lot of people, they don't want you to read it, right? They think it's like the narcissist handbook. Yeah. It's like, you miss the point though, because if you read that stuff, you'll know when people are doing that to you. Exactly. You'll know when you're being manipulated. It's actually a really good book to read. And does it have any correlation to Rollo's book, Rollo's 49 Maxims of Game? No. not even. Rollo's stuff's totally game related. Yeah, definitely read his stuff though. It's good stuff, I see. Yeah. And he said you got a good voice, brother. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I think that's why my podcast is so popular. But no, I'm not as clear of a speaker as I want to be. If you listen to my podcast, there's lots of ums and ahs, and it drives me nuts listening to it back. And there's certain audiophile people out there that they won't listen to the podcast because of it. They'll say, "Well, that's my complaint." And it's like, and I say like too much, right? So I'm like, well, I'm working on it. can't make everybody happy out there.
Exactly. But I mean, end of the day, you've got some powerful insight, some powerful information, man. Definitely like life-saving, life-changing types of stuff. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's all a learning process. I see said that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll join Toastmasters or something and work on it.
What's Toastmasters? That's like a vocal coach.
Toastmasters
I need it too.
it's like a public speaking club, and if you want to become a better public speaker, you can join that. There's usually local chapters in every major city, and you just get up and usually work on speeches and stuff like that. If you want to be if you're going to be a presenter of some kind, even if you work in like the corporate environment and you have to occasionally do PowerPoints,
Yeah,
it's great practice for that if you want to be a better communicator.
yeah.
A thing I recommend to guys too is, especially if they're really shy and sort of in their shell, is to maybe go to a local improv group and learn improv, because then you learn to be quick on your feet. You learn to sort of be quick-witted, and that way, like if you're on a date and you're normally all in your shell and unattractive as hell, when you go to improv, you learn how to snap back really quickly and stuff like that. Dave Parada, he wrote a book. He talked about how guys need to learn freestyle rapping so that they can be quick on their feet and be able to talk to people and stuff like that. Because if you learn freestyle rapping, I mean, you're just learning how to rhyme stuff like off the top of your head, and that's challenging as well.
I know. When I started out, I just like it just was how I started, was freestyle rapping, because like all of us, like in high school, we would just battle rap each other at the lunch table, and then we're like, let's record this. And that's when it started in like 2010. I was like in 10th grade, and we just kept going and going and going and going, and then just never wanted to quit. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he said if Drink Champs is super popular, I'm 1,000% sure with hard work and great content, you got this. We do. Believe we're gonna keep trying. And then don't know if you'd be interested in it, but on YouTube, look up a show called Improper Improv. LOL. It's pretty wild yet hilarious. All right. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, man. This has been pretty cool stuff, man. Anything more on your mind? Any good subjects we could give to the people? Oh wait, so you're the master of the online dating apps. Give us one pickup line. Could we get one pickup line?
One pickup line. See, I'm not a big fan of pickup lines or canned openers.
Yeah.
I have some guys in my Patreon. They've actually come from another dating coach, and I can't think of the guy's name.
Yeah.
And what he'll do is he basically gives them all a PDF, and it's a formula, and like the straight common pickup line that he gives them is, "You look like a girl that'll steal my hoodie," you know. And I'm sure that would probably work, you know. I'm sure it would, but I don't like pickup lines, you know, because I think a lot of guys that get so wrapped up in pickup lines and canned openers and routines, they end up just being a geek with techniques, and they're never authentically themselves. Yeah. So what I recommend is to my go-to when I was on dating apps was I would look at a girl's picture. I'd look through all of her pictures, and then I'd try to find one that was somewhat interesting, and then try to guess what she was thinking in the moment, you know. So I'd say, oh, you know, pick number 3, you look like you're trying to figure out if you wanted mayonnaise on your sandwich or not. You know, I don't know, whatever. And but I would legit try to think what she was thinking in that moment. There was a gal that I hooked up with. She had these like professional pictures done.
Yeah.
And she had this one picture where she's on the banks of a river. Yeah. And she almost looked like she was fucking singing, you know, like, you know, The Sound of Music or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at that, and I just said, you know, pick number 3. You look like you're singing a song. What song were you singing?
Yeah.
And she wasn't singing a song. So of course, you know, when you make assumptions like that and make a statement, usually women are pretty quick to correct you. So she's like, oh, I wasn't singing at all. LOL. That was just a blah, blah, blah. And it was like, bam, got you. Let's, you know, that's the key, right? You want to get them engaged enough to reply. And that's the hardest thing on dating apps, I find, is guys just, they don't say anything something captivating enough to get their attention. Because man, one of the biggest things I learned, one of the guys I mentioned for the Instagram game and stuff like that, Benny, my friend Benny. One of the things I learned from him, I went to a live event at his place in Georgia, and I learned how from that, like how women use dating apps. His wife set up a dating app, and the fake profile, and I think what they were trying to show us is how dating apps are trash and you need to use social media. But what we all took from it, because we were all dating apps users, was just how women use the dating apps. And you'll find that women, they're not looking for matches like most of us guys are. Women are looking to filter out their matches because they have so many. Like, the most, like, a guy on a good day might have 20 matches, right? A girl will have 200 matches, 300 matches. And so she's got to filter all this out. And what they're usually doing is just reading people's guys' openers in the preview pane. They're not even opening it. So they're looking through and looking for something that captures their attention. And then they're like, oh, that's clever. Then they'll look at his profile, right, and go, okay, yeah, he looks cute. So they're looking at your pictures. How good are your pictures? Then they read your bio maybe a little bit. They're not trying to read a lot. So less is more with your bio. If you put anything negative in there, like don't even talk to me if you have tattoos. I won't date single moms, right? Like whatever negative shit you put in your bio, women look at that and go, this guy's negative as fuck. I'm not talking to him. So you want to keep your profile sort of short and upbeat. And then so once they look at your pictures, they look at your bio, they're like, okay, he seems cool enough. Now I'll reply. Right? Everyone else, they're sitting there like filtering out. So you in the preview pane is about 7 words. So you have about 7 words to capture a girl's attention, and that's the biggest thing that I learned through all of this.
Yeah. No, that's deep. That's good insight, man. Like, I hope everybody's taking notes on that. That's like realistically a key formula.
Write this down.
Write it down. Get the pads out. Come on, guys. It's definitely key, man. A lot of people don't realize a lot of these things, like that they're looking for a reason to say no, and we're looking for however many will say yes.
Yeah, that's the big difference there. And it's so many guys too. They get lost in this fucking statistics that get spouted online about how, like, dating apps there's way more dudes on there than there are women. It overwhelmingly favors women and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's not that hard to get into the top percentage of guys on dating apps if you just learn how to use the apps. And most guys just don't. Like, their pictures are shitty. It's all selfies in their house drinking fucking Budweiser or whatever, and they are not showing these women that they have anything else going on in their lives. And and on dating apps, you have to be in shape, man. You have to be. That's one of the if you're a fat and out of shape guy, one, you should not be that way. If you're trying to attract women. And then 2, like, you're going to do better trying to meet women in person if you're like that, because you can show your personality better. But on dating apps, like, it behooves you to be in shape and have good pictures and dress well and sort of showcase that you live sort of an interesting life. And really, that's what women want, a guy who lives an interesting life, because they want to join a guy's lifestyle. It's your lifestyle that they're after. The guy's secondary.
Exactly. And that's what, like, with that guy I told you about, how I was like, who was like bugging out in the DMs on the dating apps and all that stuff. Like, that's it. It's like, when I was starting to coach him and stuff, he's a cool dude. He's a comedian, funny guy, right? Very like high value in that sense, that he's like one of the top in that local area that he's in. He's like one of the funniest guys, one of the top ones, but he's very much overweight, but he's started working out nonstop. He walks miles and miles wearing a weighted vest. But like, he's still like he said like one of those things he said not to say he had on his profile, no single moms. I told him like that's just gonna. What if there's like a very pretty girl who like just like has a aunt who's a single mom or a sister? She's gonna not want to match you. You know what I mean? Stuff
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then it's like, but what advice would you give from if he's still like hell bent on swiping like what like some wear like baggy clothes in his pictures but still take pictures out? Is there anything someone could do if they're trying to lose weight but it's probably a slow process for them?
Well, I mean, yeah, losing weight's not a fast process for anybody.
Yeah.
You know, there's no quick thing about it. So there's I'm not like a fashion expert, clearly. But there's YouTube videos. They'll show you like how to sort of dress more to, you know, sort of hide that stuff down. You know, I know like solid black is better than like, you know, and like vertical stripes are better than like, you know, horizontal stripes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But you do want to show women what you're working with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you don't want to do like what the women do to us, which is if they're fat, it's all just fucking cropped headshots. You don't want to be that guy either.
Yeah.
If all your shots are just cropped headshots, like women, they know the game because they're fucking doing it to us. So they know that if it's all just cropped headshots, that you're probably a big fat guy. So you just own it. You know, own it. Just wear clothes that sort of are a little more form fitting, that flatter your frame better.
Yeah.
And then go from there. And there's like 6 types of pictures that I recommend for guys to have. Right, you want to have at least one good headshot. You actually don't want to be smiling in every picture because a great book on this is the book Atomic Attraction. There's all sorts of studies in that book where you know, he just cites all sorts of studies in there. One of the studies in that book shows that women actually are more attracted to pictures of guys that sort of have a brooding look or even like a sort of a slight smirk. You know, you would think that they want a guy that smiles because he's happy and like, you know, he looks like an approachable guy. It makes you look like an agreeable, nice guy. And like their monkey brains see that and go, man, this guy looks like a mama's boy or something, right? Like it's not attractive to them.
Yeah.
But you do want to have at least one picture where you're smiling just to show them that you have your teeth, you know? And if your teeth are fucked up, you want to get that fixed. Like that is such a big thing. If you're a guy that likes to chew tobacco and you got like, fix that shit, right? Like get Invisalign, get whitening strips, like fix your teeth.
Yeah.
But you want to have at least one where you're showing that. You want to have at least one full body shot. You want to have like an action shot where you're doing something fun and exciting. I know a guy that has a picture of him like sort of jumping into like a pond or a lake or something. He's like cannonballing. Someone got a cool shot of him doing that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I you know, have one riding on a mountain bike, or maybe if you're backcountry skiing or something.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have a mystery shot where, you know, maybe it's like a silhouette of you sort of looking off in the distance, but the sun's ahead of you, so you just sort of look like a shadow. That's kind of a cool look. If you ride motorcycles, chicks dig motorcycles, so my mystery shot was me standing by my bike with my helmet on. Okay. You know, you couldn't see my face. I look like a fucking Mad Max villain, but that's my mystery shot, right? So you want that, and then I also recommend having like at least one shot like with an animal or something like that. It's kind of a cutesy shot, but those are the pics I recommend.
Yeah.
Or like a combination of those types of things.
Yeah.
And then if you can afford it, you know, hire a professional to get it done for you. And then also Bumble and what's the other one? Hinge. Bumble and Hinge allow you to put videos in your profile. Videos and voice messages are so fucking powerful on the dating circuit. If you put a video of you like saying something, like maybe a funny TikTok that you made, you upload that and put that on your profile, that's something that sort of showcases your personality and your body language, man, that'll set you apart probably more than anything.
Exactly.
There's a friend of mine, he runs a site called Date With Us. I think it's datewith.us. I think it is.
Okay.
He actually actually makes videos for guys now. I think it's like $15, and then he also reviews your profile and gives you recommendations and stuff like that for like $15.
Okay.
It's a fucking steal, you know.
Yeah, definitely look up Date With Us. You know what I'm saying? You guys want to take your Tinder, your Bumble, your Hinge to the next level. You know, look him up, man, and definitely join his Patreon. Come On Man podcast. Go to his page on YouTube. Go to his Instagram. Hit that link tree, and go to all his links, man. IC86 said he wanted all your links earlier, so it's on his bio, link in bio. Definitely click it. Join up. You know, we need you there. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'll take me to all my socials and everything I'm doing. It's kind of like a link tree.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. And speaking of photography, let's shout out Kelly Jean Photography had joined in right when you were saying that you need a photographer. So, I mean, people in the upstate New York area, I don't know if that's where she's still based. That's where she used to be. Definitely check her out. Great person. Let's see who else. Let's see if we got any other messages. Let's see. I think we're all caught up on that. All right. So yeah, man. Shout out Silk Shine 120. We're speaking of the devil. Got a new one right there. All righty. Yeah, man. So yeah. What upcoming topics? 'Cause I know in the first video you had said for the this coming week, like certain subjects that you were covering. Do you want to go over that again? Bring that in.
Yeah. So Wednesday, the episode that dropped today was a guy who's he's 57, turning 58 this year. He was back on the dating circuit. He just met a young gal. She's in her 20s that he's dating. So we talk about dating over 50 in that episode. On Wednesday's episode, it's going to be a solo episode. It's going to be on what to do on the date, right? So let's say you actually did set up a date on a dating app, or on social media, or you even like got a girl's number in person, and you asked her on a date. So now you actually have a date lined up. She hasn't canceled on you. She hasn't flaked on your ass. So now you're actually going to be in front of her on the date. What to do on the date. So that's what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. Okay. Body language, what to wear, how to act. Do you sit next to her? Do you sit across from her? I talk about this thing called the left eye trick, so tune in for that, because that'll change the game for everybody, right? The left eye trick. I'm not gonna get. That's a teaser. It's a teaser. The left eye trick.
There in the chat, man, on my YouTube where I repost all these is the Syfe Life is the account. I'll be there in the chat, man. Definitely on that. So it's Wednesday. What time Eastern and Pacific?
10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm live every Wednesday and Friday. And then Friday's episode is with legendary porn star Eric Everhard. We're going to be talking about his Everhard Academy. And what he's doing with that is he's got a new book coming out called The Tao of Eating Pussy, right? The Tao of Eating Pussy. So what he's doing is, for anybody that signs up for his Everhard Academy, he's giving out a free copy of his upcoming book, The Tao of Eating Pussy. Yeah. And I'm imagining it's going to be basically what he talks about in, like, I think it's the first full chapter in Unleash Your Sexual Superpowers, his first book, which he talks about just some life-changing stuff about going down on chicks. He basically teaches you how to read a girl's clit like Braille, right? It's fucking like the guy's a porn star. He has like 4,000 body count, I think he says in the book, right? Yeah. And you're just like, fucking what? Like, how do you keep track of all that? Mm-hmm. And so I asked him that. I was like, dude, how do you fucking keep track? He goes, he got to a point somewhere in his career where he was keeping track of it, in the initial stages, but it just got so fucking ridiculous because of what he does for a living that he just, so he's like, it's ballpark, but he goes, but you got to think about it. I've been doing this for 20 years, and like I've been in like thousands of porn videos, and like it's just like, okay, yeah, no, you like, you're legit, right? Some of these guys on the internet, they'll say their body count, and you're like, okay, like, how do you verify that though, right? Not to talk shit about the guy, but like John Anthony Lifestyle says he's got body count in the thousands. Okay, but how do you verify that? So Eric Everhart, you can verify it because you can go watch every fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah. Says I don't know the John Anthony guy. I think I've heard other YouTubers talk about him, but I have no idea who he is. But I would say I like how Rolo says over 50 and just leaves it at that. It could be any number over 50. You know what I mean? Exactly.
you know, like what it really what I like to say is like, you know, I could give you a number,
Yeah.
but you could never you like how would you verify it? You know, some kid was going around to he went to my DMs, he went to like a bunch of dating coaches that I know too, and was DMing them, and he's like, "What's your body count?" And I was just like, "What the fuck kind of question is that?" You know,
Yeah.
even like you know the guys that get hung up on girls' body counts. Why are you fucking asking girls this? They'll never be honest with you about it. So why are you even asking? You know, there's other things to worry about.
Yeah.
And but this kid was asking me that, and I was like, you know, kid, I could throw a number out there. I could say 5 million. Like, how would you know? You fucking wouldn't know. You know, like you wouldn't know. I could say, you know, I could say, you know, 53, right? Like,
Exactly.
one, how would you verify it? And two, like, is that high enough for you? Like, what number are you looking for here? It's kind of a dumb question. And apparently, Patrick Bet David put out some kind of thing saying, "Oh, you guys need to ask dating coaches what their body count is." I'm like, that's a dumbass question because people, you know, they lie about that shit. Like, or you know, even if they were being honest, like you can't verify it. So.
Yeah, and think about it, even if they were being honest, you don't think there's one day they were blacked out and got lucky or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Have some bodies they don't even know about. You know?
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible. You know you don't know how many of that they paid for,
Exactly.
right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
so fucking who cares, man? Like who cares? The way what I like to tell guys is if you're asking me about my body count, you're worried about the wrong stuff, right? What I recommend is treat dating like a science experiment and then take what I'm saying and then go test it out for yourself. Does it work for you? You know? Because if you're just waiting to find out like what someone's body count number is, like that's you're never going to actually take action yourself and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So how about don't worry about that, just go out and try this. Does it work for you? Cool. Does it not work for you? Cool. Don't fucking do it then. Like you know?
Yeah.
So
I get that. Now, what is your thoughts on can someone be red pill but also want an arranged marriage? Because I mean, at times that seemed like a good option to me. I heard something about like 96% of them never get divorced, but I think that's more where they're both virgins and they both their parents like agreed to the marriage together. But like, what are your thoughts on that? On like if someone in the red pill space is seeking like an arranged marriage, is that or is that not in the in the lane?
well, I mean, I don't think like arranged marriage is or isn't red pill, right? Because red pill is really all about mental point of origin, right? What's best for you? If you think that's best for you, then I guess I would say like arranged marriages and cultures where arranged marriages probably do work out well because it's the culture, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like the women are programmed and trained that this is your man and you respect him and whatever, and so it works out, right? And then they're sort of culturally held accountable for staying in that marriage, right? You know, they don't want to have to face like the shame of divorce and stuff like that.
Exactly.
If you're a guy that lives in fucking Oklahoma and you're looking at getting a mail order bride and you think that's going to work out, I don't think that's going to work out. I just don't.
Yeah, I know a person who a family member of them had a arranged marriage, or not arranged, was a mail order bride from like some country, a foreign country, and they just were shipped over or whatever. That girl killed him in his sleep.
Yeah, like I mean that's a pretty extreme situation, but I think what's more realistic thing is these women are really, you know, in the passport bros, it's a problem with passport bros too, right?
Yeah.
These guys are like, oh, the American women are broken. I'm going to go overseas and find a wife. Well, I was a sailor. Like I've been completely around the world, right? There's women in a lot of other countries are just looking for a free ticket back to the United States. So if you go to one of these countries thinking that you're going to bring her back to the United States and live happily ever after, I don't think that's going to work out for you. They're going to come over here. They're going to be, they're going to integrate with the culture. Eventually, then they're going to see that there's an opportunity. They're going to fucking leave your ass and then take half your shit. You know what I mean? Like they're going to rob you blind. So if you want to do the passport thing, I think you should consider expatriating and like moving to one of those countries and staying there, because where those women were raised, the culture there is what made them what they are. As soon as you bring them into the American culture, they're going to get Americanized and get ruined, right? So that's what I would say. I would say with that. I mean, that sort of thing can work out. One thing though that a lot of these guys are doing that I think is sort of unhealthy is instead of learning game, instead of learning okay, women are hypergamous, right? It's not a new thing. It's not just American women. Like we just have open hypergamy here. That's the only difference. Yeah. But if you learn what hypergamy is, what women are after, what they're programmed to want and look for, you can use that to your advantage, right? So if you can learn how to use it to your advantage, you learn game here, you're going to do just fine here. But if you never learn that because you're trying to find an easy way out by being a passport bro, by getting a mail order bride or whatever, you never learn game. Yeah, you're not going to have game with your mail order bride. You're not going to have game when you go overseas. So you still need to learn. You still need to learn game if you want success. Is really I think what it comes down to.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's definitely true. I feel like that's just completely accurate. You know what I mean? Because I like somebody had said, game starts when you start the relationship. That's somebody had said that as a part of it. That's where game begins.
Yeah, it's like if you want to get into a long-term committed relationship, I think Ryan Stone says that's red pill on hard mode. Yeah. Right? Yeah, man. Because if you're just casually dating, if a woman sort of ticks you off or, whatever, like you can just next them or be like, you know what, this isn't working out and drop them. But if you're like living with the girl, right, you got shared expenses and shit, like that sort of complicates things. You can't just fucking next her, so there's things you got to do so it does make it a little more challenging, and you got, and keeping that attraction going long term is, it's not easy,
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah. Did you have any topics on your mind today, man? Anything new?
No, man. I think we need to wrap it up here pretty soon because it's almost 6 p.m. where I'm at, and I got to start making dinner for my kids here. So.
Gotcha, man. It was good talking with you, man. Definitely got to do this again, man. I wish you success. Once again, everybody follow Come On Man Podcast on all platforms. You can go to him on Come On Man Pod on Instagram. Hit the link in his bio. It's going to have all the links. It was a beautiful show we did. It was great talking with you, man. You're doing the Lord's work. You're doing great work. You're helping men, man. God bless you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Stay classy, San Diego. Let's go.